Have you ever wondered what goes through the minds of inventors who create the most bizarre gadgets? I mean, seriously, some people see a problem and think, I'm going to solve this with the craziest, most unbelievable idea anyone has ever heard of. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into a world where creativity knows absolutely no bounds and, sometimes, no common sense. Exploring inventions so mind-bogglingly strange that they make you question everything to find the most insane failures. But what about the ones that didn't? These are the forgotten heroes, the unsung legends of failure. You won't forget, ever created. Trust me, you are not prepared for what's coming next. Let's get into it. First up, an invention that misunderstands the concept of a wheel. Picture this. The bicycle is the hottest new thing. Someone invented square wheels. Charles S.D. Williams genuinely believed a square-wheeled bicycle would have advantages. Think about the sheer, bone-jarring physics. More like being put inside a paint shaker. It's an engineering nightmare. Imagine the first test ride. He gets launched into the air, crashes back down. The sheer absurdity must have been a sight. It's a masterpiece of impractical design. So why on earth did this invention even exist? Beyond the inventor's strange theories about soft ground, there was this intense pressure during the late 19th century to innovate at all costs. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, and patents were being filed for every idea imaginable. It was a gold rush for inventors, and everyone wanted to be the next Thomas Edison. In that kind of environment, even the most bizarre ideas got a moment in the spotlight. The square-wheeled bicycle was born from a desire to be different, to stand out from the sea of circular-wheeled bikes. It was a classic case of trying to solve a problem that didn't actually exist. Bicycles worked perfectly fine with round wheels. In fact, that's the whole point of a wheel. But the inventor was so focused on creating something new that he completely ignored the fundamental principles that made the original invention successful in the first place. He saw a circle and thought, that's boring. Let's make it pointy and difficult. It's a lesson in how innovation without practicality is just, well, it's just a square-wheeled bicycle. It's a hilarious, bumpy road to nowhere. Unsurprisingly, the square-wheeled bicycle never went into mass production. It was a commercial flop of epic proportions. No one wanted to buy a machine that promised to be the most uncomfortable and inefficient mode of transportation ever devised. It quickly faded into obscurity, becoming a footnote in the history of strange inventions. It was laughed at, ridiculed, and held up as an example of what not to do. The inventor's dream of revolutionizing cycling quite literally failed to get off the ground, one painful lurching bump at a time. But here's the crazy part. The story doesn't end there. The square-wheeled bicycle has been resurrected in modern times, not as a serious vehicle, but as a symbol of impractical design and a fantastic educational tool. Museums and science centers have built replicas to demonstrate how and why round wheels are so effective. It has become the poster child for thinking things through, a hilarious monument to failed innovation. So while it was a miserable failure as a product, it has found a new life as an icon, a legendary symbol of a truly terrible idea. If you thought the square-wheeled bicycle was wild, prepare yourself for this. In the 1930s, parents in crowded city apartments used baby cages. Yes, a literal cage made of wire mesh that you would hang out of your high-rise apartment window with your baby inside. This was a real, patented, and commercially sold product. The idea was to give city babies the health-giving benefits of the outdoors. Instead of a walk in a stroller, some thought it better to suspend their infant several stories above a busy city street in a metal box. The marketing was unbelievable, promoted as a safe and scientific way to raise a healthy child. It's a chilling reminder of how much parenting advice has changed. So, with all these terrifying risks, why did anyone ever buy one? The concept actually stemmed from a book written by a doctor named Luther Emmett Holt called The Care and Feeding of Children. In his book, he advocated for airing infants to build their immunity. He suggested that babies needed to be exposed to cool, fresh air to toughen them up. This advice was taken very literally by some people, and inventors rushed to create a product to meet this new, bizarre demand. The baby cage was the ultimate expression of this airing out philosophy. Members of some London communities, like the Chelsea Baby Club, enthusiastically adopted these cages. They were distributed to members who didn't have gardens, allowing them to follow the doctor's advice without leaving their apartments. For a brief period in cities like London and New York, these cages were a strange but accepted part of the urban landscape. It was a trend, a fad in childcare that seems completely alien to us today. It shows how expert advice, even when it sounds insane in retrospect, can have a powerful influence on people's behavior. Ultimately, the baby cage failed to achieve widespread, long-term popularity for reasons that are probably pretty obvious to you and me. As the decades wore on, general safety standards and our understanding of child psychology evolved. The idea of hanging your baby out of a window started to seem, rightfully, like a profoundly bad idea. There was a growing public anxiety about safety, and the image of a baby in a cage just didn't sit right with the changing cultural attitudes of the post-war era. The risk just wasn't worth the supposed reward. The baby cage slowly disappeared from the market and from apartment windows, becoming a bizarre relic of a bygone era. Today, it's remembered as one of the most shocking and ill-advised inventions in the history of parenting. It serves as a stark warning about taking expert advice to dangerous extremes and a powerful example of how societal norms can shift dramatically over time. It's a terrifying, unbelievable, and thankfully failed invention that we can all be glad is no longer hanging around. Picture this, the 1930s, where everyone wanted to look like a Hollywood movie star. A perfect smile could make you famous, and dimples were the most desired feature. People were so desperate, they'd try anything. Enter the Dimple Maker, a bizarre, spring-loaded face contraption. The idea? Train your face muscles for permanent dimples. Ads promised a charming, flirtatious look. It actually got popular. The Dimple Maker was a must-have. People were willing to endure discomfort for beauty. It shows how powerful trends can be. Did this thing actually work? The short answer is no. You can't create permanent indentations in your facial muscles by applying pressure for a few minutes. All this device really did was leave temporary red marks and lighten the wallet of the person who bought it. Our faces are made of muscle, fat, and skin, not modeling clay. The idea that you could permanently alter that structure with a simple spring-loaded clamp is scientifically absurd. The inventors were either clueless about human anatomy or brilliant scammers who knew how to exploit the public's desires. The initial excitement faded, replaced by disappointment. The trend eventually died out as a beauty fad gone wrong. Today, the Dimple Maker stands as a hilarious and slightly terrifying reminder of our obsession with physical perfection. It's a testament to human gullibility and the power of a good sales pitch. It makes you wonder what products from our own time will be seen as completely ridiculous in 80 years. There's a very fine line between innovative and just plain insane. We've all been there, enjoying an ice cream cone until it starts to melt. Back in 1999, someone invented the motorized ice cream cone to automate the licking process. This plastic, battery-powered device was peak unnecessary genius. It promised a hands-free, mess-free experience. It became a popular gag gift, proving that if you make something weird enough, people will buy it. So what went wrong? Why aren't we all using motorized cones today? Well, the first major issue was the mess. The spinning motion, which was supposed to prevent drips, often made things so much worse. If the ice cream was even slightly soft, the centrifugal force would just fling it outwards. Instead of a neat, contained dessert, you'd end up with tiny specks of ice cream decorating your face, your clothes, and everything in a 5-foot radius. It turned a simple treat into a sticky, chaotic disaster zone. The one problem it was designed to solve, it actually amplified by a factor of 10. Then there was the cleaning issue. A normal ice cream cone generates 0 dishes. You eat the cone and you're done. The motorized version, however, was a whole different story. It was a plastic contraption with gears, a motor, and a battery compartment. You couldn't just throw it in the dishwasher. You had to carefully hand wash this sticky, sugary device, trying to get into all the little nooks and crannies without getting the electronics wet. It turned a 2-minute treat into a 10-minute cleaning chore. The convenience it promised was completely negated by the inconvenience it created after you were done. Ultimately, the motorized ice cream cone failed because it was a solution in search of a problem. Nobody was actually complaining about the physical effort of turning an ice cream cone. That's part of the experience. The simple, tactile joy of eating ice cream was lost when you introduced a noisy, messy, battery-powered gadget into the equation. It over-engineered a simple pleasure, stripping it of its charm. People quickly realized that the traditional method was not only easier and cleaner, but also just better. The novelty wore off fast when faced with the sticky, inconvenient reality. The legacy of the motorized ice cream cone is a lesson in innovation. It teaches us that just because you can add technology to something, it doesn't mean you should. It serves as a hilarious cautionary tale for inventors everywhere. Before you spend thousands of dollars developing a product, make sure it actually improves the experience rather than complicating it. It melted away from the market, leaving behind nothing but a few sticky memories and a valuable lesson in the beauty of keeping things simple. Sometimes, the best inventions are the ones that are never made. For centuries, people have been trying to get rid of rodents. From simple traps to professional exterminators, we've tried it all. In the 1960s, a Japanese company thought they had cracked the code. They decided to fight nature with technology to create the ultimate automated pest control device, the Cat Meowing Machine, a small mechanical box designed to meow. Programmed to let out a series of robotic-sounding meows every minute, the machine had 2 glowing green eyes that would light up with each synthetic cry, a simple automated cat impersonator standing guard. Why kill the mice when you can just scare them into moving next door? The device, known as the Nico-chan, saw a surprising amount of initial interest. So the big question is, did it work? Were the mice terrified? Not even a little bit. In fact, it had the exact opposite effect. Here's the first hilarious design flaw. The mice figured it out almost immediately. After hearing the exact same 10 robotic meows at the exact same interval over and over again, they realized it wasn't a real cat. It was just a noisy box. There was no scent, no movement, no variation. It was a predictable pattern, and mice are smart enough to recognize that. Instead of being a deterrent, the machine just became a minor, annoying background noise in their daily lives. But it gets so much better. Not only did the mice ignore it, but reports from the time claim that they actually started to like it. They got used to the sound, and the machine, warm from electronics inside, became a cozy place for them to hang out. Can you imagine the inventors' horror? They created a device to scare away mice, and instead, they built a heated self-announcing mouse nightclub. Mice were literally found sleeping on top of the very machine that was supposed to be their worst nightmare. It was a complete and utter failure on every conceivable level. And the problems didn't stop with the mice. Let's not forget the humans who had to live with this thing. Can you imagine trying to sleep while a machine in your wall meows 10 times every single minute all night long? It would be absolute torture. The relentless, monotonous sound was enough to drive anyone insane. People who bought the machine quickly found that it was far more effective at annoying them and their families than it was at scaring away any pests. The only creature this machine successfully repelled was the human who bought it. The Cat Meowing Machine quickly faded into obscurity, becoming a legendary tale of failed inventions. It's a perfect example of what happens when you underestimate your enemy and overestimate your own technology. The creators failed to understand a simple fact. Nature is complex, and a real cat is so much more than just a meow and a pair of glowing eyes. The machine was a spectacular failure, a hilarious miscalculation that serves as a timeless reminder that sometimes the oldest solution, just getting a real cat, is still the best one. Picture this: a thief snatches your briefcase. Back in the day, one inventor created the Antibandit bag. It was designed to make a thief's life a nightmare. The concept was simple. If someone steals your bag, you press a button and chaos erupts. We're talking about a bag that literally explodes, dumping everything onto the sidewalk. But that's not even the craziest part. Some versions shot out blinding smoke, released a loud siren, or even locked the thief's wrist to the handle. It's the most extra security system ever invented for luggage. Now you might be thinking, this sounds amazing. Imagine you're in a crowded airport. Someone accidentally bumps into you, you panic, you pull the cord, and boom. Suddenly, all your underwear, your passport, and your secret stash of candy are scattered all over the terminal floor. A huge cloud of smoke fills the air, a siren is deafening everyone around you, and an innocent stranger is now handcuffed to your exploding suitcase. The potential for disaster was absolutely massive. The chaos this bag could cause was its biggest selling point and, honestly, its ultimate downfall. They didn't fully consider the consequences for the owner. What if you dropped the bag and it accidentally activated? This invention was just way too messy to be practical for anyone ever. The Antibandit bag was too extreme for its own good. The risk of accidental activation was too high, and the result was too catastrophic. It became a punchline, a symbol of taking a simple idea way, way too far. It's a hilarious and cautionary tale. It remains a forgotten relic of a time when inventors were willing to build anything, no matter how impractical or insane. It's an absolute disaster in practice. What if I told you there's a place where forgotten dreams and spectacular failures are put on display like priceless works of art? Welcome to the Musée Arts et Métiers in Paris, France. This isn't just any museum, it's a real-life hall of fame for human ingenuity. Imagine walking into a massive, gorgeous building, and instead of seeing paintings, you see hundreds of the weirdest inventions ever created. It's like a graveyard for genius ideas, and it is absolutely incredible. This museum is huge, and it holds over 2,400 inventions. Walking through its halls is like time traveling through the minds of history's greatest thinkers. But hidden among these world-changing successes are the glorious failures. It's a place that celebrates the process of invention, including the epic fails along the way. First, we come across something that looks like a giant mechanical duck. Next, we see the Avion 3, built by Clément Ader. This museum doesn't hide these failures, it puts them on a pedestal, reminding us that every epic success story is built on a mountain of these incredible fascinating failures. The Musée des Arts et Métiers shows that innovation isn't a straight line. It's a messy, chaotic journey full of dead ends. This museum celebrates that struggle and tells us that it's okay to fail. Every exhibit, whether it changed the world or ended up as junk, is a piece of human history. Inventors were pushing the limits of what was considered possible. Every failure is a stepping stone to success. It's a source of endless inspiration and a reminder that no idea is too crazy to try. The Musée des Arts et Métiers is a monument to the willingness to get it wrong. Even the most spectacular failures can become timeless treasures. We've seen exploding briefcases, baby cages, and machines designed to give you dimples. We've journeyed from the ridiculous to the downright dangerous, ending in a museum that honors these beautiful, chaotic failures. If you thought these inventions were wild, just imagine what's still out there waiting to be discovered or to fail spectacularly. Every single day, someone, somewhere, is in their garage working on the next big thing. For every idea that changes the world, there are 1,000 more that will become hilarious stories for a future YouTube video. That's what makes innovation so exciting. The next legendary failure could be just around the corner, and I can't wait to see it. So I have to ask you guys, which invention blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments below. I'm going to be reading every single one because I am genuinely curious about what you guys think. And of course, if you want to join us for more unbelievable journeys into the craziest corners of history, science, and human creativity, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. We have so many more insane stories to share with you, and trust me, you won't want to miss what we have planned. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video for another wild adventure. Now get down to those comments and tell me your favorite failure.